Hey there, this is Matt with State of Flux here with a review for Stranger Things Season 3. This is my first time going through the show, and coming off of Season 2 with how much I absolutely loved it, I was a little let down with Season 3. Season 3 is not as good as the first two seasons, though I think it has a resounding finish that are among the best episodes of this series so far. But it's kind of a long track to get there. The show has a really good, solid first episode where we get reintroduced to the characters. I love the whole mall vibe. I was a mall kid, so that was something that I absolutely adored. And they managed to capture that look, that vibe, that feel absolutely perfectly. And this season introduces a couple of new characters that I really like as well, but what it does with the existing characters, I'm not entirely on board for. I think there are some storylines that really work for me and some that really kind of don't. So I think all the stuff going on with 11 and her new friendship with Max, this sort of forced ripple in the relationship between 11 and Max and his friend group is pretty good. The kids' storyline there works for me, largely across the board. Nancy is my favorite character, so I respected her storyline of her trying to fight for her own agency within this newspaper kind of atmosphere, and they really capture that toxic work environment of the masculine 80s and the cocaine culture that you get within that relatively well, but to a kind of an annoying and egregious degree that I stopped responding entirely well to it. And the sooner Jake Busey got off the screen, the better. That being said, I like Jake Busey, so it's kind of sad that he annoyed the shit out of me. I really responded well to Billy's storyline where he gets possessed, and he was such a good menacing villain in the previous season that here, where he's an actual visceral physical threat because he is taken over by the Mind Flayer, is really good. And I think Darcy Montgomery is phenomenal in this show. Dustin's my other kind of favorite character, and they sort of split him off with Lucas's, it's Luke, right? Lucas's little sister, as well as Joe Keery's character and Maya Hawke's character. And this is really where the show kind of takes its divide. There's a massive Russian subplot in Season 3 that just did not work for me, kind of on any level. The only reason I was able to have patience for it with the kid side of things was that they put three of the best characters together for that journey. If that side of the story was helmed by anybody else other than Dustin and Joe Keery and Robin's character, I don't think it would have floated at all. It would have sunk in the show with it. On top of that, you have Hopper and Winona Ryder and whatnot on this kind of B-plot Russian storyline. Or I guess they have the A-plot and Dustin and them have the B-plot. None of that really worked for me either. There's this whole Terminator vibe to it where they have this guy that easily could have played the Terminator. And that's kind of neat, but all of that stuff just doesn't work. It's the stuff with the Mind Flayer, this vicious blob thing, the reporter aspects with Nancy, and then everything going on with Mike and Will. And there was a suggestion in the first season that Will might be gay or whatever, and it was just a throwaway line. I'm beginning to think that that might be true, which is kind of neat. And I'm curious to see if that gets evolved in any way. We'll circle back to it. Meanwhile, Elle is honing her power, and she's getting a newfound friendship with Max. This stuff is what made Season 3 kind of work at all for me. But it was still relatively uneven. It took me a lot longer to get through Season 3 than it did Season 1 or 2. But once I got to those last 2 episodes, those episodes were so good, kind of forgiveness was everywhere, and I was able to overcome a lot of my criticisms of the season. They even found a way to make all sides of the Russian storyline work. My absolute favorite thing in the world happened in the final episode of Season 3, which was Dustin and his girlfriend via the radio that you don't know with confidence exists until that moment. And she's beautifully played. I should look up who this actress is. She sells the shit out of the moment. But she gets Dustin to do a duet with her of the Neverending Story. This changed my life. I've listened to their rendition of it like 6 times. Neverending Story is one of my all-time favorite movies. I love that song. I've had it on my playlist since I got a phone that could like create playlists of music. The fact that this was in here and I didn't know about it until this viewing changed my life. Oh, I loved it. No higher praises. I have to admit that I was kind of shocked that Hopper died. Because I thought he was with the show the whole way through, but his death moment really resonated with me, and I liked that, especially when you get Eleven's reaction to it. Oh, and everything in the last like 20 minutes is really, really powerful. As well as Billy. Billy gets a reclamation of his character. Once Elle sort of loses her powers or is unable to focus her powers as she once was, she's able to utilize that with which she learned and sort of redeem Billy and have Billy be the one to fight the Mind Flayer. I loved all the stuff, the fireworks in the mall. That whole final episode has like just bombastic quality of like epic scope and adventure and stuff. Oh, fantastic. And the Mind Flayer was really scary, like genuinely creepy and whatnot, especially when it's attacking Hopper's cabin and stuff like that, and it's very reminiscent of Evil Dead 2. I really, really appreciated that. But it's the emotional crux of this show that gets me to keep watching it and to be invested, and I think everything that happens in the tail end of this, 11 reading the letter, her profession of love to of Mike is really quite beautiful. The crew saying goodbye and being split up as people move away, as happens in childhood. All of that really, really works. As I say, Season 3 is somewhat of a mixed bag for me. I still really like it. It's very good, but almost all of that goodwill comes from the last 2 episodes and that very first episode. There's some good stuff in between, but largely it's that. I'm curious to see where we go moving forward with these characters, and I really hope Season 4 is better than Season 3. I've heard much better things about Season 4, so that's kind of good to hear. Predictions moving forward, I don't know, we'll probably see some forced reason as to why the characters need to reconnect in Hawkins, because I imagine like that stuff is what stays and we don't see the supernatural entity move to wherever the hell Elle and company have moved. I would imagine we're going to see some kind of development with the Will thing, whether or not it's a firm confirmation of maybe his homosexuality or bi-curiousness, or maybe I just read that entirely wrong, but I don't think so. I think they are feeding that thread, and I'm curious to see where that goes. I don't know where the big bad comes from. I imagine since we saw the return of Paul Reiser very briefly at the end of Season 3, we'll see that continue a little bit. It was nice to see him back. Oh, also this season had Cary Elwes. I guess he was the 80s icon they brought back for season 3. I'm very curious to see who they bring in for season 4. But maybe there's some lingering thing with Paul Reiser accidentally opening the rift once more, and the need for 11 to come back. 11 needs to reclaim her powers, which I think she will do, but I think that will stretch over the course of the season. Max has to deal with the loss of her brother, even though he was kind of a piece of shit to her. He did ultimately save them in the end, and I would like to see some kind of resolution with that. I would like to think that Mike and 11 stay together even from afar. That would be kind of neat. I'm very curious to see where that thread goes. But yeah, season 4, the only thing I really know about that is it's the Kate Bush season, where people were like, oh my god, she was so great, I didn't know this music existed. And the Running Up the Hill song. And it's like, did you guys not know that Kate Bush always was a rock star? So I'm very curious to see how the song that stole the world a couple of years ago works in the show. Because if Neverending Story didn't change the world, I don't see how that one could be put to better use. That Neverending Story scene. Chef's kiss. That might be the greatest moment of television. I'm overselling it, but I did love that moment. My wife was trying to sleep next to me as I was watching that, and I was absolutely giddy to the point of her waking up, but instead of getting like frustrated that I woke her up, she kind of got enveloped in the moment too, and yeah. And then I even showed that to both of my small children, and they loved it. Anyway, predictions for season 4. Somebody else is gonna die. I don't know, it seems like one season character is dying, and now we're getting closer to the end, so I imagine one of the kids is gonna go. Maybe it's Will. I don't know. We'll see. Taking Will off the board seems to be a commonality in the fact that he didn't get taken off this season. Maybe it's his brother. Maybe his brother gets killed in season 4. I'm very curious. Don't spoil these things for me, for I know not. But I'm very much looking forward to season 4, though I hear that most of the episodes are like feature length, so that's kind of, it might take me a while to get through it as well. Time and holidays, eh? Anyway, let me know what you think of Season 3. I've talked to a few people at work who say Season 3 is their favorite season of the show. I absolutely disagree. Well, good, not great. Certainly not good, as good as Season 2 or Season 1. But those last 2 episodes are bangers. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, peace.